last several years, we've seen Democrats try to take away our freedoms of religion, assembly, and speech. We can't let them take away our right to defend ourselves, too. South Dakota defends the Constitution. Yeah, I bet, she's going to have that same feeling if, somebody goes in and says, hey, you guys are disobeying the courts, you're out of control, you continue to go ahead and legislate through demand and order of a mad king. I wonder if we have an amendment for that. Does anybody, there's like a number that's coming to mind, right, guys? Yes, the 69th Amendment. Fuck Trump. Yeah, the 69th Amendment that just says fuck Trump. Yep, correct.
Oh, that my hair up.
God, I hate him. Why?
Is good. All illegal immigrants are good, and nobody should be deported ever. And ICE is inherently like an evil organization.
Nobody's saying this. Literally, no one's actually, this is, again, it is straw man. It is a right-wing talking point that there is no use for any of these systems whatsoever. All right? These are the same people that look at people saying defund the police. They are claiming to be the knowers, the knowledgeablers, and everything like that, and just saying, oh, we should just get rid of all the police. Yeah, fuck off, bro. The LA riots. Because, yeah, that's what we're doing. Anyways, so, LA protests, riots, whatever. So, I have this New York Times article that I want to run through real quick. Okay. This New York Times article that I want to run through just so we can get like a base layer of understanding of like things that are going on. And then we're going to kind of dive into a little bit of like the political drama and then the more streamer-based drama because, can't help some of these fucking liberals that want to still continue to cape for Trump just because he's threatening the people that they don't like. Anyways, Los Angeles braced for more confrontations between law enforcement and protesters against President Trump's immigration policies as the administration escalated the federal response to the demonstrations, deploying the Marines and more National Guard troops to California. The protests, which began on Friday, were largely peaceful. They were calmer by Monday, though they spread across downtown Los Angeles and its suburbs, and to other cities across the country, in a sign of widening anger over the aggressive federal deployment. When they're speaking of aggressive federal deployment, okay, one of the reasons why I believe these protests are happening is because Stephen Miller himself is kind of, basically arguing for what we call a quota system. All right, literal deportation quotas. So for those of you that have been paying attention since the election, during the election, Trump promised that he would deport all 12 million of the 10 million illegal immigrants who live in the United States. That's right, folks. The 2 million that don't even exist. I think he's pulling from citizens. And to go ahead and ensure that we go and make these benchmarks, it seems that Stephen Miller has gone ahead and instituted a quota system. Stephen Miller pushes for even more surprise ICE raids as deportation quotas explained. Key facts. Trump's deputies, chief of staff for policy, further the demonstrations as an insurrection. They are all the proof you need that mass migration unravels societies, while highlighting footage of protesters waving Mexican flags in posts on X, painting a dark narrative that the U.S. is being taken over by undocumented immigrants. He attacked lawmakers in so-called sanctuary cities. All right, accusing the government of this and the state of California of having aided, abetted, and conspired to facilitate the invasion of the United States, writing, "We will take back America." The arrests coincide with a push from Miller to ICE to dramatically increase arrests and use aggressive tactics, such as workplace raids, like the one conducted at a West Side Home Depot over the weekend that led to protests in Los Angeles, according to multiple reports about Miller's directives. Miller recently set a new minimum arrest figure for ICE of 3,000 per day, double the quota set in January. So, I don't know if you guys know this, I'm pretty sure quotas are actually illegal with law enforcement. All right? And if they're not illegal, even if we don't want to go that far with it, we can literally just say that when a quota is introduced, the actual quality of the work goes down dramatically. We've seen this, for instance, with Pizza Hut. Domino's. Got Tom on the mind. All right. Domino's, all right, went ahead and had a quota system where you had to get shit there before 30 minutes. These increased, pressures on the workers led to countless accidents, deaths, all for pizza. It's a little more serious now, but hey, that's the example I've decided to go ahead and use, so live your life. The rest go. Miller recently set a new minimum figure, doubled the quota set in January, and threatened to fire Icefield office leaders with the least amount of arrests, citing unnamed sources who participated in a meeting with Miller last month. In the meeting, Miller urged officials to broaden arrest targets to include non-criminal migrants, according to NBC, even as the Trump administration has defended its mass deportation push, claiming it's targeting those accused of serious gangs or crimes or gang affiliation. Miller pushed ICE officials to conduct broad sweeps at workplaces like Home Depot, 7-Eleven, and others that employ day laborers, and do essentially whatever they need to make more arrests, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing people familiar with the meeting, including deporting American citizens. Again, these are things that we know exist. And I also need to find the actual source for the American citizen deportation shit, because it definitely fucking happened, and that's I just don't. I literally have no idea what else to say. Oh yeah, here we go. We got a ACLU article. First thing, deport American citizens. Yeah, Peter Sean Brown was illegally detained in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights. This is the ACLU going ahead and reminding you that your rights are for sale to the fascists. Congratulations, you played yourself. No good faith is needed. All right, one sec. Let me add this to my notes. Deporting American citizens. Cool. Next. Anyways, moving further. All right. That is where I'm at with this. President Trump mobilized the troops in a mission that officials said was meant to protect federal property and agents, doing so over the objections of officials in California and Los Angeles. The weekend of clashes between law enforcement and demonstrators led to about 150 arrests, and the police fired munitions that left protesters and journalists injured. And in fact, I literally have some things that I need to show you. Viewer discretion is advised. If you do not like seeing somebody get shot in the face with a rubber bullet and bleed all over, you're going to probably get a screen of that. But before we do that, I do want to remind you that they are targeting reporters at point blank, as well as this Australian woman, if you can call Australians that.
Has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shut the
because, obviously, this guy right here, this dude right here, all right, I don't know who he is, all right? You can literally see him totally fine, looking around. He's literally going for the news. Okay? Literally going for the news. I don't know how else to say. What the fuck?
You just shut the
You okay?
I'm good.
Are you okay?
Yeah, fuck 9, dude. Fuck 9. Anyways, along with this one of a protester, which I grabbed from the Queeman subreddit, all right, who was shot point blank in the fucking head. Not point blank. It's not point blank, but it's like pretty close. All right, yeah. All right, literally, which, then it's they go ahead and tend to this person, but this is what they're doing. Again, be fucking real with yourselves. Wake up. We live in a fascist state. Congratulations, cocks. Okay? This was messed up. They've been doing this for a while. We knew it was going to happen. Maybe you should listen to the people that were actually talking about this for ages. The protesters that, everybody caped for when Destiny went ahead and said, hey, maybe we should just let the rednecks go in and mow them all down. Oh, but hey, You know, we moved against him when he became an obvious sex pest, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. Anyways, the state of California on Monday filed suit against the Trump administration over its move to take control of the state's National Guard and to deploy troops to Los Angeles. California Governor Gavin Newsom also said he would file a lawsuit to prevent the Marines from being deployed. Now, mind you, because of Gavin Newsom, we have some like interesting little fun things that are, you know, going on with this, such as Trump literally going out there and saying, hey, arrest that governor. President Donald Trump has publicly voiced his support for the arrest of a sitting state governor. I don't like Gavin Newsom as much as the next guy. All right. I think he looks like about, you know, $2.50 worth of a person in a $1 suit with a 25-cent toupee. All right. But at the end of the day, I still support him as an American to not be arrested illegally. Speaking to reporters at the White House Monday, the president responded to a question from Fox News correspondent Peter Doocy regarding the ongoing back and forth between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Trump's so-called border czar, Tom Homan. Gavin Newsom is daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him, Doocy asked Trump in the video captured by CNN cameras. Should he do it? Trump endorsed the idea, responding, I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He continued by calling Gavin Newsom a nice guy, but grossly incompetent. So we have the literal president of the United States, coming out here talking some crazy ass shit. All right? Crazy ass shit. Are we there yet? Are you feeling it yet, Mr. Liberal? Anti-War Machine, good afternoon, love you.
Governor Newsom also reacting to threats by White House border czar Tom Homan, where Homan said Newsom could be arrested if he interfered with ICE arrests. Here's the governor with MSNBC.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me.
We're going to skip over this because I do actually have that interview. We are going to be watching the full of Gavin Newsom's statements during his interview with MSNBC. He posted it to his own site. I literally only clicked on this because I thought it was Trump's statements.
He's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's gross.
Yes, and Loki, you have voted to go ahead and earn yourself a timeout for going ahead and being a rat. We'll see you in 30 minutes.
Mostly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget.
Primordial. At no point was I actually going ahead and promoting those. I was actually going ahead and responding properly to the situation at hand by going ahead and describing the problems with Hamas as well. Because again, I have issues with authoritarian governments. You earned yourself 30 minutes. Congratulations.
We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
The president then posted on Truth Social defending his decision to send the National Guard, saying, quote, if we had not done so, Los Angeles would have been completely obliterated, unquote. He then went on to say Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass should be thanking him.
Let's be clear. Even with a little bit of my change of tone, brother, I feel like I'm still actually actively calling out the tactics that were made by al-Zakari that have been going ahead and proliferating through the terrorist world as well as the right-wing Western world. So you know what, buddy? You can have a little bit of fun by yourself. You know, play with your fucking dick or something, dude. Brazilian lad, good afternoon, love you. Cosmo, good afternoon, love you. Anyways. Back onto this because we are going to get to the stuff with Gavin Newsom, right? Moving forward, the state of California on Monday filed suit. Why? No, shut up. The state of California on Monday filed suit against the Trump administration over its move to take control of the state's National Guard and deploy troops to Los Angeles. California Governor Gavin Newsom also said he would file a lawsuit to prevent Marines from being deployed. All right, so once again, This is just a general rundown. They're arresting immigrants, and the protests have broken out. Now, mind you, this is happening in California. In California, they have a governor, and his name is Gavin Newsom, who seems to be the first Democrat who is attempting to have some sort of spine in the face of actual, problems that are out there. And that is why we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at this interview from MSNBC with Gavin Newsom.
I'm inside the Emergency Operations Center run by the County of Los Angeles here with Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining us live on MSNBC.
Good to be with you.
So this is, as I said, the emergency.
I'm not dealing with the gaslighting anymore. You can go ahead and choke on your fucking lies, okay? I'm not dealing with the gaslighting. I'm not going to have people tell me I'm not a serious political fucking person when every single one of them sits on their fucking thumbs, all right, and is trying to mediate to try to appeal to right-wingers that would rather see you dead than listen to what you have to say. You're a useful fucking idiot. Yilamana, good afternoon, love you.
The Operations Center. I wonder how you would characterize the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles right now. Is it an emergency? Is it Fox News is calling it the LA riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening and what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the DOJ.
Nate, you're not catching any strays. We had a normal, reasonable conversation earlier, and I explained to you why we did it, because you do actually listen. You do argue in good faith, and I do appreciate that from you, even though you are a conservative who doesn't necessarily agree with what I believe in. However, I will not be going ahead and tolerating these deleterious, unserious talking points from Destiny cucks.
What he did is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state. I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks.
Literally can't give you a glorp shit. I can't give you a glorp shit. I need money to fix some shit, so I can't even give you a fucking glorp shit.
Doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires, the rattlesnake teams. We did the same back in George Floyd with no problem working collaboratively.
Also, Fairy Flow, I'm glad you got a new pencil set. That sounds very adorable. Thank you for your contribution to the stream.
Mutual aid system with local law enforcement, but there's a protocol, there's a process. He didn't care about that. And the worst part, he completely lied. He said in a tweet that everything's now safe, everything's fine. Is that the case, Mr. Trump? He said because he deployed the National Guard. The Guard hadn't even been deployed when he said this. It's Orwellian. Simply lying to people. Unconstitutional, illegal act, his mess. We're trying to clean it up.
You're saying that the President of the United States has made the situation on the ground here in Los Angeles
Female EX, good afternoon, love you. Thank you. We are well.
Less safe. What do you know about immigration enforcement today? Has there been any ICE raids in the city today? Are they coordinating with you on that at all? They give you a heads up?
Of course, they're not coordinating. That said, we were told in just a recent briefing just a few minutes ago there was small activity in the county and not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car, the folks that are taking advantage of this, these aren't peaceful protesters. A lot of these folks, a lot of great people out there doing the right thing. But you get these surging groups coming in, sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems.
Dickers, good afternoon, love you. Fuck, I didn't realize you were live. Just like you couldn't realize where you fucking were earlier. I understand.
Problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property. And it is wrong to create the conditions that only exacerbate this. But Donald Trump.
Bro, I don't know how long I can keep up being really, really mean all the time. All right, I don't know how long I can keep up being really mean all the time. This is really, really rough on my soul. It's very, very, it hurts. All right.
At the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
Let me give you the opportunity. You mentioned that there are people out there causing mischief and mayhem. What's your message to those people who are out there tonight? Not the peaceful protesters that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants, but for the people that are doing damage to buildings, to law enforcement.
Well, they're doing more than damage to buildings and to property. They're potentially damaging the very foundation of our republic. The democracy is in the balance.
The reality is, when your rights are starting to be stripped away, when the courts have no power to overpower the executive, as we've seen with the Abrigo case, where the quick and, is it speedy? I can't remember the exact quote. I might need to look that up. Let me make a note on that. Look up old Abrigo shit. with that cancerous Barbie cunt. Okay. We don't even know all the people that were deported because a lot of people didn't even get informed that their families were deported. So, what about all the rest of them that are still over there in the concentration camp in El Salvador that we are paying out the ass to house people at?
I mean, you're seeing these authoritarian tendencies now are being acted out by this administration. And we're case in point as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines. So I hope these people would pause and just consider. Now, some of them, they want that kind of chaos. In some ways, they're adjacent to where Donald Trump is. But the peaceful protesters,
yeah, and the sort of chaos he's talking about is, remember, it's the Reichstag fire that truly allowed Hitler to come to power. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really support Hitlerites.
We want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back.
Now, Rocky, I'm talking about a specific quote from, like, what the hell the person in the Trump administration was saying.
He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. This is Donald Trump's problem right now, and if he can't solve it, we will.
He continues to, as always, hit you hard publicly. Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I kept trying to talk about L.A. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday night, about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protest had started?
After the protest, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone-cold liar. He said he did. Stone-cold liar. Never did. It was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the president. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
Did you mention at all to him in that phone call on Friday night the types of raids that were happening in your state on Friday? You know, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in L.A. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other things.
Do you think he was aware of what was happening in Los Angeles?
I think I'm more than aware. And obviously, he was setting this up to take these additional steps.
This was a setup.
And I'm not saying he was setting things up. I'm not saying it was a setup. But clearly, they were in the process of moving to these next steps because out of nowhere, just a few hours after that conversation, he moves to pull the trigger under this construct under Title 10 and then created and exacerbated.
Okay. God damn it, dude. I don't like Gavin's like abundance liberalism shit, but the one thing I absolutely despise is his mealy-mouthed attempt at going ahead and saying things that we can actually repeat and failing at it repeatedly, regularly. God, just have the talking points. You're literally suing these dudes. They're literally, it's like this is happening and you know he's like just coming out and saying, hey, we're going to sue these people, and then files through the suit. All right, again, you may not think that this is enough, and you know that's fine. I think if you want to see more from your political leaders, that's fine. All right, but for me, this is something that ever since the moment that they started deporting people without due justice, I have been desiring any little bit of something, just something to hold on to, right? But yes, Gavin Newsom went ahead and filed. Gavin Newsom, all right, in the official capacity as governor of the state of California versus Donald Trump in his capacity as president of the United States, Peter Hegseth in his official capacity as the Secretary of Defense, Department of Defense. Gavin Newsom wrote, one of the cornerstones of our nation and our democracy is that our people are governed by civil, not military rule. The founders enshrined these principles in our Constitution, that a government should be held accountable to its people, guided by the rule of law, and one of civil authority, not of military rule. California will be standing up for those principles in court, Mr. Trump.
the conditions that are persisting today.
This is your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here. Right. You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops have been out all across Los Angeles working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you find out that the President of the United States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National Guard here in California?
I got a call from a staffer. No heads up whatsoever. And again, we're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs. They were not requesting any additional resources. I've got 100 now. I have 175 CHP officers, technically trained officers, tactical teams to address Donald Trump's mess. We're here to support local law enforcement, the sheriff's office, LAPD, but they didn't need that support. He made this up. This is a manufactured crisis in order to get under the tent to start to stretch credulity and to begin the process of moving inevitably towards a constitutional questioning crisis around posse comitatus. And it's, I think, inevitable. That's where he's going.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his work. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Let your hands off these poor people just trying to live their lives, man.
Did he just F-bomb?
That are trying to get educated. Let your hands off these poor people just trying to get...
I don't think he did, but he definitely was about to, man. He definitely was about to, man.
Live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here.
Bong, and good afternoon, love you.
10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
The perception is there's a lot of theatrics happening out there. Mayor Bass told me that she spoke directly to Tom.
I want Newsom to swear for once. I want somebody better than Newsom to continue the fight. Like somebody that can actually talk and argue and debate and everything like that. Like I would like somebody else to do it, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta say, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Moment. Has he reached out to you? Have you reached out to him?
No.
No communication whatsoever?
No, it's direct communication and back and forth with Susie Wiles and with the president in a phone conversation.
There obviously are pockets of violence out there on the streets. How concerning is the violence in Los Angeles tonight? How widespread is it, too? You're monitoring it.
Yeah, we're monitoring it. I think that's self-evident. We're here with LAPD. We're here with Mayor. We're here with the Sheriff Department, my National Guard, that we're still working in command with, and others monitoring the situation in real time, providing whatever resources we possibly need. We're calling out the violence, period, full stop. It's wrong. And we're calling for the President of the United States to rescind his order so that he can clean up his own mess.
Stephen Miller.
So, again, as much as I want to watch of that, again, it's not much. I don't really, I'm just going to be honest, I just don't like Gavin Newsom, man. I just don't. I don't like his politics. I don't like any of that, but it's like, man, you know, all I gotta say is I'm giving critical support to these actions. Like, I don't really know what else to do. You know, I don't think I can get that, hyper angry about this stuff. Especially when Gavin Newsom is coming out with banger tweets reminding us that, as governor, Kristi Noem, current head of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, puppy killer and bloodlusted person, all right, Kristi Noem, a literal ghoul, fiend, monster of a person, was very quick to jump on the train of, hey, we shouldn't federalize the National Guard. But once they get power, what do these freaks do but go ahead and use it to their fullest fucking extent? Biden should have sent in the goddamn National Guard to Texas and made that state understand what it means when you defy the federal government. Because guess what? They're going to do it anyways. Why are we trying to be respectable? Why are we trying to do any of that? All right. But again, another clip here from Gavin Newsom.
For anyone in the Trump administration or the Secretary of Defense or the Defense Department or Department of Homeland Security who's coordinating or communicating any of this with you, or are you mostly finding out by tweets and by posts and Trump's press conferences?
Let's talk about the great Kristi Noem, who not that many months ago was on with one of the mouthpieces, the PR machine for the Trump administration, Sean Hannity, not that many months ago as governor, Noam, condemning the Biden administration because there was some discussion, as she heard.
To be clear, again, critical support. I generally am just going to be like, yeah, you know what? They're doing something. All right. Do I agree with them, like, calling out all of the violence? Yeah, I'm kind of an anti-violence person. But generally speaking, I don't really have that criticism when on the other hand of this is people that literally wish to exterminate people by sending them to concentration camps in El Salvador.
To it as threat to freedom and state sovereignty, because there was a chance that her National Guard was going to be federalized.
Yeah, this one. Kristi Noem with the tweet of, if Joe Biden federalizes the National Guard, that would be a direct attack on states' rights. Over the last several years, we've seen Democrats try to take away our freedoms of religion, assembly, and speech. We can't let them take away our right to defend ourselves, too. South Dakota defends the Constitution. Yeah, I bet, she's going to have that same feeling if, somebody goes in and says, hey, you guys are disobeying the courts, you're out of control, you continue to go ahead and legislate through demand and order of a mad king. I wonder if we have an amendment for that. Does anybody, there's like a number that's coming to mind, right, guys?
She condemned it. Hannity shook his head in disgust about the incompetency of the Biden administration. That incompetency and hypocrisy is on full display right now.
Yes, the 69th Amendment. Fuck Trump. Yeah, the 69th Amendment that just says fuck Trump. Yep, correct.
No coordination.
Good job.
No capacity to engage in a rational deployment strategy. Currently 1,700, if I haven't made that clear enough, of the first 2,000 cohort that have not been deployed, and the threat of the U.S. Marines coming in to a city in the United States of America in 2025, which would require the Insurrection Act in this manufactured crisis that is going to create the conditions that we are desperately trying to mitigate. And this chaos is manufactured, and it's my job as governor, working with local law enforcement, to clean up their mess.
God, I hate him so much. He sucks so bad. He sucks so goddamn bad. I cannot stand it. I can't stand how much he sucks about this. It's just the worst. He's just the worst. He's just the worst. All right. But you know what, man? Again, just got to do that thing that we like to talk about called critical support. Okay? Because once again, there is a problem here. The politicization of the U.S. military and the use of that force against American citizens is something that specifically the founding fathers had quite a few opinions about. Right? And at least somebody is standing up for those things that we hold near and dear to our nation. Gavin Newsom again. U.S. Marines serve a valuable purpose for this country, defending democracy. They are not political pawns. The Secretary of Defense is illegally deploying them onto American streets, so Trump can have a talking point at his parade this weekend. It's blatant abuse of power. We will sue to stop this. The courts and Congress must act. Checks and balances are crumbling. This is the red line, and they're crossing it. Wake up. So, one of the things that does get mentioned here that I do think is quite important that we need to go ahead and go through is the Department of Defense memo that was released. Let me find this exactly. I forgot to put this in here. Protests. Okay, here we go. We're going to read through this, okay? So we're going to slow down a little bit because, obviously, when the rest of democracy fails, you get the literal guy who has the jester as his character for his background. You got numerous incidents of violence and disorder have recently occurred and threaten to continue in response to the enforcement of federal law by U.S. ICE agents and other U.S. government personnel who are performing federal functions and supporting the faithful execution of federal immigration laws. In addition, violent protests threaten the security of and significant damage to federal immigration detention facilities and other federal property. To the extent that protests or acts of violence directly inhibit the execution of the laws, they constitute a form of rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States. So we need to go ahead and actually go and decrypt this in real time. There is no faithful execution of the laws. All right. And when I say that, I am specifically telling you this because a faithful execution of the laws of this country would indeed go ahead and reflect something that Rock-Hassan brought up earlier, which is, in all criminal prosecution, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district where the crime shall have been committed, whose district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have assistance of counsel in his defense. You know, real basic shit, and we put that there because you know what was happening to us? The king was going ahead and rounding up so-called ruffians, and we didn't like that. We didn't like the fact you could get thrown away like some piece of chattel, some piece of meat that's been left out to rot. It's disgusting, and it is absolutely, absolutely repulsive. And to go even a step further, this next statement, they constitute a form of rebellion. These words are used specifically, as is shown in 10 USC Code 12406, National Guard in Federal Service, line 4. The president may call in federal service members and units of the National Guard of any state in such numbers he considers necessary to repel the invasion, suppress the rebellion, or execute those laws. Those laws being, whenever the United States or any commonwealth or possessions is invaded or in danger of invasion, there is a rebellion or danger of rebellion, or the president is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the government. They are using this rebellion term to be specific, not, the fact that this so-called rebellion is a bunch of faith, could also institutes a bunch of faith ministers who went ahead and are sitting at these protests, all right, joining arm to arm to go and speak out against this. The clergy have gone ahead and entered into the ring because God is not on your side, anime's not on your side, you live with Satan and Lolly, Mr. Trump, and I want you to know we don't like pedophiles. Priests, rabbis, and other religious leaders took to the streets of Los Angeles on Monday to help keep the peace among mid-protests that spiraled into violence over the weekend, reports KDLA-5, LA's very own. The protests against President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown intensified with the deployment of National Guard members, something local and state officials said has worsened, not improved the situation. Additionally, hundreds of U.S. Marines are reportedly on the way to LA. Way more cars were torched, businesses were ransacked, and numerous injuries were reported over the weekend's chaos. On Monday, however, protests were much more peaceful, and religious leaders, some of them partnered with organization Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, made a point to discourage violence by both police and protesters at the intersection of Alameda and Aliso streets in downtown Los Angeles. We're here to peacefully ask where the families are. The Reverend Omega Burkhart, all right, literally, this guy, not a beta, not an alpha, not a sigma, he is the omega. The end of all days is Mr. Burkhart. Told KDLA's Kimberly Chang, ¿Dónde están los niños? Where are the people who have been detained? We're also here peacefully to support the right to protest, and we're here to keep a peaceful presence for folks. We understand people are very angry and very upset, and we're here to provide a non-anxious presence. Not a good look. Anyways. In light of these incidents and credible threats of continued violence by authority vested in me as president of as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, I hereby call into federal service members and units of National Guard under U.S. Order under 10 USC Code 12406 to temporarily protect ICE and other United States government personnel who are performing federal functions, including the enforcement of federal law, and to protect federal property at locations where protests against these functions are occurring or are likely to occur based on the current threat assessments and planned operations. Yeah. So we're just gonna We're just going to drop some Marines in there. They're going to just stay on the federal land and everything like that. You know what's the craziest thing about this? You guys like notice how like they haven't mentioned California? They're just saying this about your state. You're living in America. You're living in somewhere where America's got jurisdiction. They're talking about you. They're talking about your rights. And they're talking about why you shouldn't be able to fucking have them. I am fired the fuck up, dude. The only... Okay. Further, I direct and delegate actions as necessary for the Secretary of Defense to coordinate with governors of the states and National Guard Bureau and identify and ordering into federal service the appropriate members and units of the National Guard under its authority. Now, mind you, this is a lie. This is fundamentally a lie. Again, that statement that we saw earlier, all right, from Gavin Newsom, that they weren't contacting him, has been gone ahead and reaffirmed by the LAPD as of today. Because, as was reported, well, actually, I guess it's yesterday. All right, as is reported, an LAPD chief, under an Axios article by Serene Habeshian, police had no formal notification of Marines deployment to LA. There is not coordination. This is fundamental lies. Lies that are being told to you. Lies that you must close your eyes and block your ears. You know, maybe you need to cut out your goddamn tongue and suss something down your throat so you can't even make a noise. Because at the end of the day, these are the lies they want to feed you. The members and units of the National Guard called into federal service shall be at least 22,000 National Guard personnel, and the duration of duty shall be for 60 days or at the discretion of the Secretary of Defense. In addition, the Secretary of Defense may employ any other members of the regular armed forces as necessary to augment and support the protection of federal functions, which aren't federal functions because they are illegal, because they're not facing trials. They are subverting the legal judicial process. These are not federal functions. These are illegal actions. Don't use their words. Support the protection of federal functions and property, and any number of determined appropriate in his discretion. To carry out this mission, the deployed military personnel may perform those military protective activities that the Secretary of Defense determines are reasonably necessary to ensure the protection and safety of federal personnel and property. The Secretary of Defense shall consult with the Attorney General and the State of Homeland Security prior to withdrawing any personnel from any location which they are sent. So, as a reminder, you got to ask for permission, just take the boot off someone's neck, right? Yeah. The Secretaries of Defense and Homeland Security may delegate to subordinate officials of their respective departments any of the authorities conferred upon them by this memorandum. So, it's not about California. It's about Pennsylvania. It's about Hawaii, Florida, Alaska, Colorado, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Michigan, Iowa, Illinois, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Louisiana, Alabama, Texas, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, there's like a lot more. Shit. Mississippi. All 50 of them. Every single one of those people. Every single one of those states. Nebraska, Utah, Missouri. Beanslord, good afternoon, love you. Puerto Rico, Guam, Minnesota, New Mexico. I already said Alaska, Remy. I already said Alaska. Guam, yeah, it's technically, it works under that because it's technically like they've got federal buildings and, you know, they're under the jurisprudence. Like, we don't need to go into like every territory and everything like that. I feel like you're just naming all the states. Yeah, that was the rhetorical there, but I kind of fucked it up because I don't have like a list of states and I was just kind of running them off. And then I like kind of jumped from like area to area, and I was like kind of like reading through like all of them in like my mind's eye and shit like that. It really didn't work out. All right, Little St. James, the Northern Mariana Islands. We don't need to remember Canada. They're not a state yet. Okay. Yeah, if I like wrote them out, I probably would have gone Wyoming, Idaho. We did Hawaii. We did Hawaii already. Oh God. Oh God. Name 50 states. Whizzle. Right. Delaware. No, I'm trying to find a not like flashcards. I'm trying, you know, like how they have those like, you know, Pokemon quizzes where it's like name all 150. I'm trying to find one for the states. Pennsylvania. I might have missed Pennsylvania. Ugh. Ohio. I did get Rhode Island. Yeah, we got Rhode Island. Rhode Island was definitely in there. No, we got through Vermont. We did that right after New Hampshire. All right, we did that for that. New York. We did Washington. No, we did Washington. We did do Washington. No, we did Louisiana. Yeah, we got Louisiana with. This is so long. It's like $60. Shane, thank you so much for the support. The bar has been complete. We will be doing spins after this, as well as tending to that after we get done with the segment, because I am going to edit this and throw this schizophrenic like meltdown that I'm having as a video up on YouTube. Okay, just so we're clear, that's what this is. Andorra, good afternoon, love you. Sidonia, good afternoon, love you. We'll do that in a second. But right now, we're going to do this. We're going to be playing the quiz. All right, let's see if I can name all 50 states. Alaska. Oh, God, I spelled it wrong. Pennsylvania, Iowa, Missouri, Ohio, Florida, New Hampshire, Michigan, Kansas, Arkansas, and Carolina. Dude, God damn it, I had to type the whole word north out? Okay, alright. North Carolina, South Carolina, Hawaii, California, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Colorado. Oh, we missed that on the first time. Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, oh God. Oh boy. New Mexico, Texas. We already did Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi. Oh God, I can't. Oh fuck. Oh God, I got it right. All right, we spelled it right. Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. All right, Louisiana. All right, we already did that. Georgia. Maine. Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Delaware, Virginia, West Virginia, North Dakota, South Dakota. We're at 35 out of 50. That's pretty decent for like, you know, a quick like rundown, you know. I think we're doing all right, honestly. Oklahoma, Tennessee. We did the Carolinas. Have I done like all the 13 original colonies? I think so. Right? Did I do New York? I think we did New York. Yeah, we did New York. Okay. Did I do Vermont? I don't think. No, we did do Vermont. Oh, nope, we didn't. New Hampshire. Nope, we did do New Hampshire. That's bad. That's bad. Massachusetts, that place that Brianna Wu comes from. I don't really ever remember them as a state. Unironically. I got 11 to go. All right. Man, my just kind of like guessing, random stuff I just kind of jumped all over the map. There's really no there's no like oh god, don't say anything in chat. I'm not looking at chat. I'm literally not looking at chat. What ones am I missing? Okay. All right, let's go up from where we got? We got Missouri. Did I do Michigan? I don't know if I did Michigan. No, I did Michigan. That's not great. Illinois. There we go. That's barely a state. Did I do Ohio? I did do Ohio. It's always been Ohio. Alabama? Oh, wow, I didn't actually get that one. Damn. Man, how did I fuck that up? That's crazy. We got Hawaii, we got Alaska. This is really rough without like a map. Oh god, I'm missing like 9 states. I'm not even doing great. Alright, depression. Oh no, that's just what I'm feeling. Never mind. Senators. McConnell, Kentucky. Did I do Pennsylvania? Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. Alright. There's like a bunch of them that I'm just gonna like. Did I do Iowa? I think I did Iowa. Kansas? Yeah, we did Kansas. There's another I state. There's another A state. There's another M state, at least one. I also, like, the stakes are really high on this, because these states are going to be destroyed if they're not mentioned by me. I don't know if I mentioned that to you guys. It's pretty tragic. Maryland? I didn't do Maryland yet. Okay, cool. Maryland. This is, like, way harder when you don't have a map to look at. Like, way, 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 way harder. God. So, that's not good. This is not great. This is really not great. Think sports, that doesn't help, brother. I don't know what sports are. Use the alphabet. Idaho. Utah? Okay, cool, we got that. Alright, I got New Mexico, right? Yeah, we got New Mexico. Colorado. Nevada, we did. New Mexico. Arizona. Okay. Nebraska. Keep forgetting that one. It's gonna be New something. Oh, bro, this is so fucked. There's literally a state that's just New something. Oh, I missed 4. Oh, no. Oh, God. All right. So what do we lose in terms of states? Indiana, not a big deal. Minnesota, not a big deal. Wisconsin, New Jersey, Honestly, if I miss 4 states, that's pretty all right. That's pretty all right. That's pretty all right. You know, guys, I'm gonna be honest. This isn't that bad. All right, this isn't that bad. I think we did a pretty good job. Average score 83. I got a 92. All right, this was okay. All right, yeah, this is all right. This is okay. All right, yeah, man. Forgetting New Jersey is valid. Yeah, it is valid. It's super valid. Anyways, so to go even further than all of that, you know, there is a way that this plays into the drama. All right. A way that this plays into the drama. If you guys didn't know, there is a certain streamer who has been going to these protests. His name is Hassan Abi. You know, I'm not going to call Hassan bad. I'm just not. I don't really find a value in calling Hassan bad. All right. When you have people that are literally just sitting at home. He went outside. All right, and not only did he go outside one day, as we can literally tell by his Sully Gnome statistics, okay, he's been going outside multiple days, multiple days has he gone outside? He went outside on Sunday. He's went outside on Monday. I think this is Monday. Yeah. So once again, this is something that's happening. All right. This is somebody that's out there, and you can take a look at these things. And even if you hate Hassan, you should, because you know what? You should, because guess what, dude? Guy got flashbanged. Apparently.
I think they're gonna push in from this side of the road. Oh fuck! That fucked my hair up.
What a fucking God! I hate him. Why? 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 Why is the first thing he says? I got my hair fucked up. Why? Why? Anyways, but you know, of course, guys. All right, we have to remember about the optics, guys. Remember about the optics, right? Because, you know, images like this, you know, caring about optics really matters for some reason. For some reason, it really matters. Because somebody can go ahead and put their hand to their chest to do the German Nazi salute. You can get over that Bellington shit. Shut the hell up, all right? Because, again, I want to remind all of you something real quick, all right? Real quick, that, yeah, guess what, buddy? If you got a disagreement with me, I got one thing to say to you.
My heart goes out to you, ladies and gentlemen. My heart goes out to you.
So, again, I get that optics matter to a degree, but when your opposition is going to make false narratives about your cause, does it really matter? Will it matter that when protesters are getting mowed down by military forces, conservatives already have talking points that are lockstep that protesters should be shot and killed? From the sounds of it, they're itching for it to happen. If protesters are waving the American flag, conservatives might say these people are traitors and should be killed for defending criminals and illegals. I mean, we already see and hear conservatives say people waving the Mexican flags are illegal aliens and should go back to their country, or justifies it as a reason for their military invasion. Case in point, did he really do a Nazi salute or a Roman salute? Why not just create narratives around the actions of conservatives instead of nitpicking? And, you know, this was posted in Our Destiny. You know what I mean? And, you want to know the best part about that? Their daddy, their sex pest daddy, don't agree with them.
Mexican flags are good/neutral because some people are Mexican Americans and are being targeted by ICE just for being brown. It's at least a symbol that works for that. And I think you need to listen to your own arguments about concern trolling/optics cucks. We can't get bogged down with what might be bad when the other side is worse, especially in this situation where reporters are getting...
By the way, I'm calling him a sex pest. He was a sex pest before Pixie, and we all know it because he fucking would trot out every one of his fucking cum dumps on fucking stream on the reg after he fucking left Molina. It was weird. He normalized the actions that occurred in February of 2024 at the Ohio Progressive Victory event that had led to a lot of people being harassed sexually. Again, king of consent. He's always been a sex pest. You don't need Pixie to tell you that. Open your fucking eyes.
Shot and people are being... Then fly a pair of flags. Like, flags are important. Like, it's not... This isn't... Like, you talk about, like, optics cucking. A flag is literally only there for optics. The whole point of...
That's not it. It's not just for optics. One of the reasons why you carry symbols with you when you go ahead and protest is because there is this idea that you're saying, hey, I am fighting for these people. Hey, you should feel comfortable living in this great country, this country that I love, that I'm goddamn sick of the way it's going, because I love this country. All right, and I'm tired of these un-American fucks going ahead and repeating Russian compliment style fucking takes.
Flying a flag is to signal like what it is you believe in. And so if you've got a bunch of conservatives claiming we're being invaded by Mexicans, and then a whole bunch of people are, you know, like doing basically insurrectionist behavior with Mexican flags, I mean, like, it's just like, why the fuck? I don't know.
Yeah. Because guess what, Destiny? They're literally saying that they're subhuman freaks. Just like you echo this idea that some people are subhuman. You've done it for years. You literally got all of your little orbiters to run these lines because you are the one giving the conservatives the arguments that they need to manufacture the consent for the actions that they do. You turn liberals into rightoids.
Don't you agree that immigration is good for the
Brazilian lad, I'm giving you 30 minutes. We're not doing that shit. I don't fucking approve. I'm not using racism to make my arguments, okay? I'm using my mercantile pedo-jacketing for that.
country? That's what they're protesting for generally. Aren't you doing what you accuse the left of doing often
Because
and
again,
dividing the cause?
unlike some of the people that might be on screen, I go ahead and walk my walk when I talk about what I like seeing around my community. So, get in fucking line or get the fuck out.
The problem is that the problem is that like ICE as an organization is a good organization to have. Laws around immigration and the border is a good thing to protect. Like, well,
It's not really racist. It is used in a racialized manner, Jojo. I don't like people using things in a racialized manner. I don't, that's why I don't deal with that shit unless we go to kick to do fucking whatever it is, okay? All right, that is what it
we
is.
should be advocating for is comprehensive immigration reform, probably some form of amnesty for the people that are
And how are we going to do that? All right, what? Are we going to make a law that the Trump administration is just going to violate, even if we get all the Republicans on board, that the Supreme Court could go ahead and rule against Trump doing those sort of things? What sort of thing are you talking about, bro? We are beyond that point. We are beyond the point where these things matter, my man. Can you wake up and smell the fucking gasoline? Can you wake up and smell the ashes, Mr. Freeman?
here because that's the only realistic outcome, and then some like more reasonable border policy. But the messaging can't be illegal immigration.
I have a counter argument for this. What is the counter? What is this?
Every day, every night, I can't sleep. Always running through my mind. Please just let me be. There he is in my sight, lying next to me. Gotta try and set my mind right, so I turn on the TV and see stupid sexy Hassan. Stupid sexy Hassan. Stupid sexy Hassan.
Scully, good afternoon, love you. Yeah, I don't know why you posted this, but this is like a really good vibe, so I'm just gonna enjoy this real quick, okay?
Stupid sexy Hassan.
Primordial, this sounds good. Okay, shut up. Like, of all the dog shit fucking, like, political songs and shit, do we need to... Hey, real quick. All right, you have a choice. You can have Stupid Sexy Hassan, or we could do Destiny Hassan rap. All right, do you remember this bullshit? Do you remember this bullshit? Guys, everybody, I want all of you to thank Primordial, okay? I want all of you to thank Primordial for what you're about to witness. Can we get a thank you to Primordial, guys? Can we get some, come on! Thanks, Primordial! Everybody, thank you, Primordial! Let's go! Let's go!
Hello, Steven.
Hassan Piker.
You know there's only one way to settle this, old friend.
Oh yeah? What's that?
I challenge you to a rap battle.
Bring it on, bitch. I would destroy Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson.
So you can school a couple of fascists. But can you defeat a socialist? It's been a long time, Steven. Thought you got the best of me. But this ends here. Prepare to meet your destiny. Review your power level to where you won't pull through. You're welcome to the Nuremberg trials for part 2. Been around for a minute. Deep in the grift, goddamn, now you're in it. I may not be a redneck militia clown, but I'm still gonna motherfucking mow you down just like... You laughed as my dog died, no surprise. You do support genocide, Zion and shield dancing on Gazan graves. Like Gusano from a family who owns slaves. You smell worse than a fart. Shane Kamala Harris had to drive us apart. You fell behind me, Steven. What happened, dog? And more than double your sub count, let's finish the job. go away, numb the pain of run these streets for too long. Streaming takes all but everything until I break this all with service job.
By the way, this is why Kanye West turned to Gnosticism, because of how goddamn dog shit this is.
Day and night, it's all the same.
Are you motherfucking kidding? Crib worth $3 million, you're still fucking bitching? Everything you say sounds like fucking word vomit. Put you in a hospital with—
Yes, because if you make a bunch of money, right, you can't complain. I am raped. Yeah. Thank you for the 245.
Fuck you, Primo.
Thank you for the 245. Big bad. I do want to remind everybody, if you make a lot of money, you're not allowed to complain because, you know, you won capitalism and everything's great for you. You can't care about the fact that, hey, your nation and like the morals and stuff that you actually are trying to espouse are like kind of falling apart in front of your eyes, and they've been doing it for over a decade now. But, you know, hey.
Israel and vomit like. Call me aggressive, that's a delusion. Against all slurs unless they're cracker or Cuban. Confuse and believe all women with no excuses unless they're at a music festival and they're Jewish. Well, fucking liar, dude. The only liar is you. I picked it all on my own. Little bro, let's review. Fortune 500 father and TYT Clout Legion. Off my career while you slept on my couch. Got a legion of dipshits like Frogan. Himbo disposition like a leftist Joe Rogan. War of attrition, 1967. Gonna fuck you up harder than K9/11. Dog, go away. Suck my dick. My name's Hassan and I'm a little bitch and I love to play the victim.
Yeah, we could have been watching the other video, Primordial. Subutai, good afternoon, love you. No, it's actually Destiny Subutai. This guy is a literal DGGer who is like, hey, let's go ahead and strawman all of Hassan's arguments like we always do. And then, you know, ha ha ha, we're going to be so cool when we go and completely ignore this shit. Screenwatcher, good afternoon, love you. Yeah, Screenwatcher. Thanks, Primordial. I'm new here and questioning my decisions. Yeah, exactly. Leon Tate, good afternoon, love you.
And I face the consequences for backstabbing my friends. Bitch.
Going after my dead dog that hurts like a knife. Divorced in each second time you're losing your wife. Can't be child support, here you dropping my name. Hoping some of this clout's gonna trickle your way. Here's my premises, you're a crypto-white supremacist, an instrumental Zionist, neo-lib interventionist, new platforming for Fuentes and ate chicken and waffles, fucking disgusting and awful. So I guess that makes you my nemesis. Gnome fuck with the complex like Napoleon. Shalom cuck, brain so simple it works so slowly. And like syrup, you're dense, viscosity, non-Newtonian. You wash up, each time to put you in the Smithsonian. You're just like Daniel Day and there will be blood. A sociopath who chose his career and abandoned his son and all his principles. So now it's the return of the king. I dethrone you so you can fucking kiss the ring, bitch. Huh. Bro, is that seriously all you have to say? All these years of no contact and that's your response?
Yeah, going ahead and misrepresenting the UN report once again, which couldn't actually go ahead and say that there necessarily was a systematized program of rape as a tactic by Hamas. However, that same UN went ahead and said that there was systematized rape as punishment within the IDF on the other side. Curious. I wonder where the nuanced freaks are going to go with this.
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about when I fucked your mom last night.
You can know him fuck.
If I'm the Gusano, then why you squirming in pain? Just like RFK Jr.
Yeah, because it's so bad to say the word, the G word, right? Like it's totally racist to say the G word, right? Yeah, you know, but hey, you know, if I use it, it's, you know, totally normal, right, guys? Right? Because we care so much about the words that we use. You can say the N word if you're a white guy, right? No, I'm not saying it. Fuck off.
Driving worms in your brain, trapped in a Hassan's skull. Imagine the horror, like a brain-eating worm in a narrow hole of the more. You're giving me shit when I just learned as a Nick. While you clapping with the pirates who are blowing up ships. I see you're finally living like a socialist though, cause everybody sees you getting publicly owned. Pushing Russian propaganda like a good little slave. Holy shit, at least Fool and Rubin got paid.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just like pushing right-wing propaganda because you just want to find some way to disagree with people that you largely politically agree with and destroy their program because that program might actually cause some like problems with the fact that you're a greedy little fuck.
Dunking on your ass like I'm Jordan from Space Jam. Knock knock Hassan, does it sound like a J-Dam? You're the worst of Twitch, you're devoid of morality. I divorced my bitch, you're divorced from reality. When you go down in flames and wonder what's it all worth.
Well, I don't know if Destiny divorced his bitch. You guys, I don't know if he did that. I think Melina divorced him. Because of infidelity. Somehow he was able to have infidelity in an open relationship. where you just have to like talk about it a little bit first. Huh. Crazy. Huh. Wow.
Like you said with 9/11, you'll fucking deserve it, bitch.
Special thank you to Destiny for being a part of this. Yeah, let's do Stupid Sexy Hassan.
This is not a banger. This is not a banger. And I know bangers.
Mollusk, thank you for the 144. I'm going to assume that's on the previous video. All right, everybody ready for the groove? We're getting back to it.
Stupid sexy Hassan. Stupid sexy Hassan.
Anyways, sorry. Just anyways.
It's good. All illegal immigrants are good, and nobody should be deported ever. And ICE is inherently like an evil organization.
Nobody's saying this. Literally, no one's actually, like, this is, again, it is straw man, it is a right-wing talking point that there is no use for any of these systems whatsoever. All right? These are the same people that look at people saying defund the police. They are claiming to be the knowers, the knowledgeablers, and everything like that, and just saying, oh, we should just get rid of all the police. Yeah, fuck off, bro. Kill.
It needs to be disbanded. Like, this is just like a slightly less retarded version of ACAB. It's just stupid. It's aimless. Most Americans won't support it.
Leonard, you're welcome to link more Bao videos, and I will insult you further.
There's no like coherent action plan for like what it seems like protesters are even calling for. Like,
yeah, and it seems like there was no actual action whatsoever that was being executed by the Democrats and Chuck Schumer, who rolled over while they were getting fucked by the Trump administration, being insulted through their families, their genetic lines, their livelihoods, and everything else. Yeah, you know, there's no actual action to begin with. All right, what the fuck do you want, man?
do you think the messaging?
Yeah, literally brings this up on screen. If they spit, we'll hit. This is a statement from the President of the United States concerning the catastrophic Gavin Newsom-inspired riots going on in L.A. The insurrectionists have a tendency to spit in the face of National Guardsmen and others. These patriots are told to accept this. It's just the way life runs. But not in the Trump administration. If they spit, we will hit. And I promise you, they will hit harder than they've ever been hit before. Such disrespect will not be tolerated. So says the king. So says Donald Trump.
On the left has been dumbed down because of the constant dumbed down messaging from right that gets perpetuated. No, the messaging on the left is fucked because the people in charge of the messaging aren't in charge of getting people elected.
Yeah, I'm sure like the messaging of, hey, I hope a bunch of redneck militias go in there to fucking mow down a bunch of people. You know, I'm sure like that messaging really resonated with the fucking, you know, with everybody. I bet the messaging of if you go to a Trump rally and you get murked, like that really, really resonated with the American people. Because again, it's optics for me, but not optics. Or it's optics for thee, but not optics for me.
I think. If they spit, we will hit. What is a good example of an American protest? I feel like the civil rights era, from my very limited understanding of U.S. history.
Ooh, the civil rights era, Destiny. The civil rights era, Destiny. Hey, Destiny, I wonder, you know, what was going on in the civil rights era? You know, like, you know, Martin Luther King, all right, your dog, Drew Pavlu, your dog faced motherfucker Drew Pavlu saying, you guys actually have to care about it. You present your movement to the public. Remember, famously, Martin Luther King, as said by David Austin Walsh, was hated by most white Americans at the end of his life and was assassinated by a white supremacist, despite wearing a suit and tie. Yeah, because, you know, let's just rewrite history a little bit, man. Let's just keep rewriting it because you're not wearing suits. It's not good enough. Huh? You know, just make sure you die the right way.
Civil rights era seemed to be the most pointed, best form of like targeted protests with specific asks in mind, with specific organizing principles. But I'm sure prior to that,
Yeah, what about the Battle of Blair Mountain that actually, even though it was a violent protest, led to the establishment of child labor laws? What about the Whiskey Rebellion? What about John Brown during the Civil War? What about all of these violent protests that were literally in the name of something that we would never in this day even think twice about? John Brown was goddamn right, and he went to the grave for it, all right? And at the end of the day, he lies a moldering in the grave.
There were other great examples of protests. So I'm sure
Yeah, the American Revolution even, right? Right, dude?
women's suffrage had a lot that I just don't know about. The Boston Tea Party was the targeting of an explicit good that was dumped to protest an explicit policy.
What did the Boston Tea Party do? It led to a crackdown that then led to violent revolution.
The catastrophic Gavin Newsom-inspired riots. What? The insurrectionists have a tendency to spit in the face of the National Guardsmen, such women and others. These patriots are told to accept this. It's just a way of life, but not the Trump admin. If they spit, we will hit. Okay. Do you remember the Rodney King riots? Wasn't I like 4 when those happened? Wasn't that?
Oh yeah, the Rodney King riots, 1992, where they went ahead and deployed. Oh wait, let's take a look at the Rodney King riots. Oh, was this in my notes? And I even knew about this, and I didn't even watch this Destiny clip. I just knew he was gonna be full of fucking shit. Yeah, the Rodney King riots, where they did deploy 10,000 armed responders from the California National Guard, United States military, and several law enforcement agencies. Yeah, but you know why they did that? 63 deaths, 2,383 injuries, 12,000 arrested. We have a little bit over 150 arrests right now. No deaths. Like a little bit over 100 injuries. So they've already deployed half as much now to go and deal with this, even though the LAPD literally said, yeah, we're working on it. Just it's just a protest. We can deal with it. We're literally the most psychopathic police department. Why are you letting other people beat the people we want to beat?
92. Even MLK recognized why people riot. Yeah, and he told them not to constantly.
Because he didn't think that the conditions existed where the judicial system was completely owned and was being even at that point ignored by the President of the United States. We were living in a state that wasn't failed because they were responding to the checks and powers of the U.S. government.
MLK recognized how absolutely fucking cancer, AIDS, violence, and rioting was to any particular cause. It's why they policed the fuck out of their own organizers and protesters. These were at 92. I was 4 years old, so no, I don't remember these. 3 years old.
And remember, even when that happened, as long as a single tissue was left on the ground, Martin Luther King was viewed as a violent insurrectionist. Sounds familiar, right?
What do you think of the Occupy Wall Street protests? The same thing. They were aimless.
Oh yeah, the white moderates that MLK warned us about. Yeah.
Protests that had no direction. They weren't making any specific policy aims. They didn't have any coherent organizers. They didn't really seem to understand what they were asking for. It would appear that the protests are doing what they should be doing, which is making ISIS's job very, very hard to accomplish. If your goal is to just make ISIS's job hard to accomplish, then you're an insurrectionist, and I think you should be arrested and treated as such. Federal prison, felony, I don't know, is it whatever happens for people that are engaged in treason or insurrection? Like that can't be the thing that we think that we can't enforce, like the border, or we can't do immigration policy. The issue right now is that you have Donald Trump is directing ICE to act in an illegal manner. That's an issue. I guess if you want to circumvent ICE insofar as that's concerned, then fine. But like the fixation needs to be on, it has to be on the administration. It can't just be general grievances about ICE or general grievances about, I don't know, government.
Well, it seems like Gavin Newsom is focusing on Trump. And it seems like people seem to be actually focusing on the Trump administration with this. But, you know, let's look at some retard on fucking Twitter that gets 3 to 20 likes who's saying, oh, yeah, we gotta get rid of all ICE. Yeah, man, manufacture the fucking consent that you want to go ahead and give conservatives so they can continue to ruin your country. And one day, maybe, Steven, maybe they'll just deport your parents that you care so little about.
It's undirected and stupid. If you're mad at what I'm saying now, just try to remember these words 2 weeks from now when we've moved on from this and absolutely nothing has changed. And
oh, yeah, because, Steven, you want to know why nothing's going to change? Because you're going to get your people to go ahead and give the other side the arguments that they need to do. You are a useful fucking idiot. You are no better than Donald Trump. You are manipulated by, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really sure who, guys, all right? But, you know, I might be able to make some guesses there, right? You know, you're a foreign stooge. Get the fuck used to it, Lil Steve.
There's no legislation and there's nothing being talked about to change anything substantively. And all of this is cleared up and we've moved on to the next thing to be mad at.
Yep. Yeah, because, you know, Destiny. Totally willing to give them the inches that they're going to take miles from. We have gone ahead and sat with this liberal despondency. The do-nothing liberals who say that we need to work with the people that wish for us to die. All right, I'm getting some on-the-ground reporting actually from one of my reporters in the field, Yuki, who is going ahead and went ahead and posted this. All right, a literal Marine Corps gunship helicopter flying over Los Angeles. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool stuff, Destiny. Very cool. You know, the same Donald Trump who deployed the military on protesters while he held a Bible upside down trying to quote scripture, gassing them right by the fucking dozens, right? Yeah, these people, Destiny, these people who have shown us who they are, who we know who they are, who you have said are fascists. But you know what? Hey, don't want to lose that fucking penthouse, do you, buddy? Yeah, it is kind of cool to see like a fucking gunship though. These are I love gunships, man. Like, yeah. And this is actually, I believe, a direct image that Yuki has sent us of unmarked white vans coming in. No markings, no way to track them, because guess what? They gotta bust some people. You know, let's hope that they don't fuck up again like they did with the ACLU. Where the ACLU went ahead and had to go and fight for U.S. citizen Peter Sean Brown when they went ahead and illegally detained him for deportation. Surely, Steve, this is like, you know, not the things that we need to worry about when they do unmarked white vans, no judicial oversight, no oversight whatsoever. Surely, Mr. Bunnell. Surely, you know, you're sitting on the right side here. You're giving them the reasons to do what they like to do. Gotta love it, guys. And you know, here's the thing, right? These people want to talk about optics, right? So let's talk about optics as something, a little story. I mean, we're going to go back and we're going to go down to Destinyland. Okay, guys. All right. We're going to go down to Destinyland because, you know, over on, Leftovers, right? This was something that got posted to our Destiny, and they said, oh, well, it didn't get any upvotes or anything like that. All right, we'll go over this, right? Destiny. Hassan is participating in the LA riots, which were declared illegal by the federal government. Here's what you can do. So this loser is going outside and literally rioting, even though the police and government have made it clear it's illegal and everyone should stop. Most of the rioters are masked and hiding their identities. Hassan is a known personality and easily identifiable. You can submit screenshots of him protesting against police orders to the FBI online tip line here, or to the LA police here. It's finally time to get this terrorist arrested. Now, you know, I'm willing to give a little bit of charity here, okay? This post, apparently it didn't go very far. It got removed from the subreddit, so I wasn't able to actually find it. And, you know, for what it's worth, I also think that the Destiny subreddit, which again is moderated by Destiny, owned by his community. You can't do this thing where we're gonna ignore the fact that, oh, my community is in DGG chat, my community is on Reddit, my community is on Twitter, my community is on YouTube, and they're not connected whatsoever. No, they're all your spawn, they're all your children, they're all the people that look up to you, right? You know, but you know, I'm willing to give them a little bit of credit. Okay, let's give them a little bit of credit. Let's see what they cooked up here with their optics maxing. Dan Saltman's minions, Ethan's bestie, are mass reporting Hassan to the FBI for the crime of protesting Trump's fascist government. These are the same people. All right. All right. So this got reposted, and they bring up. Oh no! Oh God! All right, we're fine. All right, they're posting that this was downvoted. All right, this was downvoted. It was moderated. That's pretty cool. I think that that's a good thing. You know, I think that's like a really, really, really great thing. And you know what? I'm going to say, man, is this is obviously not necessarily indicative of DGG stuff, that they're not going ahead and just making outright threats, all right, to, to Hassan, right? Like that's definitely what's happening here, right? Wait, guys. Oh, yeah, that's right. DGG chat. XKD2. I'll give to sub to anyone who shoots Hassan. He's probably scared someone comes, Ezco. He's probably scared someone comes in with a custom-made Damascus steel blade with a certain logo on it, scheming. Blessany, someone goes and stabs Hassan with a DGG knife, scheming. Cinema, Hassan gets arrested. Closest we get to Hassan being arrested. I guess technically Hassan owes us for him getting arrested. Blessany, get arrested. These people are fucking monsters. They are capos. And I'm goddamn sick of it. I'm absolutely fucking sick of it. My soul is goddamn burning. I'm on fire. I'm burning alive. All right. And we even have here Randy Marsh. I fucking knew me sending FBI and snips out of Hassan was going to pay off eventually. I sent my 36th email to the FBI today about Hassan. Maybe I should try a different email address. Bro, if that's Hassan, I'm going to report him to the FBI. All right. Again, just these people have they have literally nothing to stand on. Their platforms are made to harass because they want to do the work that they said was fascist when Trump was doing it. They are losers. They are freaks. Okay? Because that's it. Because here, guys, here's one. Here's a popular post on our Destiny. When Trump is threatening to arrest Newsom and sending Marines, it's time to balance coverage instead of still 90% of posts being leftist bad. Top post. I think deploying the National Guard and threatening to arrest a governor is bad. Happy. Violating the Constitution is probably something you really give a shit about. I'm not happy. This is something you should be screaming from the rooftops at every goddamn moment that you have. I'm not happy with this. It's a placid, I wash my hands of this, and now, can you stop bothering me while I make fun of the brown guy? Yeah. 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 Here's one. No one's taking the threat seriously because of Taco. I got enough hate in my heart for both. These people are deranged fucks. Literal deranged fucks. However, it does seem that the optics are not looking that great. All right? And you want to know why? Because people that have the courage to actually speak out seem to actually be doing that. For instance, all right, we have something that happened yesterday. I don't know how many of you know who Doichi is. I certainly don't. I don't listen to rap music that much. And if I do, it's about sucking my cousin's dick. All right? But Doichi, upon receiving her Woman of the Year BET Award, went ahead and had this to say.
Trump is using military forces to stop a protest.
Dochi? Is it Dochi? It's Dochi? Oh. I tried. Okay, I tried. I tried.
And I want y'all to consider what kind of government it appears to be when every time we exercise our democratic right to protest, the military is deployed against us.
Doechii is using her voice.
How difficult is this? How difficult is this to understand? The military is there to protect American citizens, and there is a sacred right guaranteed to us by the Constitution of these great United States, the First Amendment, to protest, to be able to go ahead and stand up against the government. The protesters are labeled all the same as the rioters, as we have seen from Destiny and his ilk, being unable to actually see the difference between these things. Yes, there is some reason to look at the optics of things. And the optics are that we have a fascist government taking over and people are noticing things.
I wouldn't have as much cool stuff if God didn't agree with me.
I
Woof.
love how the Republicans 10 years ago were constantly yelling they are killing the Constitution. Now look at what their current guy is doing. Face with bags under eyes emoji.
Elite Eater, thank you for the $5 super chat. Exactly. You know, those same conservatives, all right, that go ahead and champion gun rights, but when it was Ronald Reagan doing it because the blacks were carrying them, it wasn't that good, was it? They don't actually care. They don't care about any of this. I do. I've been a little fired up today, and a part of that is because I hate what's happening to my country. But the bigger part of this, and why I engaged in arguing with some people earlier, is every morning I get to sit with my grandparents and talk to them a little bit. My grandfather and I were doing some lawn work, me doing a good bit of it, right? Because he's just 88, 89. And over the weekend, you know, they got to meet somebody important to me. So I talked to my grandfather. And he was talking about how all these things are happening. And a short conversation afterwards, he went from, he's just doing it wrong. And I just said, I'm like, Pop, he's been doing it wrong for a while. All right, I reminded him of the illegal orders by the courts, the defiance of the Trump administration in front of those courts. And he kind of started to remember a lot more about this. And we talked for a bit. We talked about what it meant to be a part of, you know, the American dream and stuff like that. We talked about service. We talked about a lot of these things because, you know, that's what it is. And I'm fired up because I know that if my grandfather is starting to think like these things, my grandfather, who's pretty much like what you'd call a blue dog liberal, all right, you know, he's not necessarily the most lefty sort of guy. He can't deny it. These aren't messages that are hard to deliver to people. We need only give the most cursory reminder of the injustices that have been served to us. The only optics cucking that occurs is when people are coming out here to tell us specifically and in no uncertain terms that the way that we do things, the way that we talk about things, the way that we do all of this is bad. It's not. These people are fascists. They are eroding our Constitution. They are eroding our rights. I'm goddamn sick of it. So I'm going to keep working on this. I got more notes to take. So stay tuned and stand by.